Alluvian Health once again offering asymptomatic COVID-19 testing in Great Falls. We'll tell you where you can get tested. Plus, MTN has you covered all election season, and tomorrow we'll kick off a series of debates. We've got a preview of that coming up. And later, high school football is back, baby, and it's about time. Our Isaiah Dunk and Alec Boffinger give us what we've all been waiting for, some of the best highlights from around the state.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Thanks so much for spending your Saturday night with us. I'm Matt Holzaffel. We start tonight with breaking news. The Montana Department of Health and Human Services and the Teton County Health Department are confirming the state's first known case of multi-system inflammatory syndrome in children associated with COVID-19. The county reported that the patient is between the ages of 10 and 19 and received treatment at Primary Children's Hospital in Salt Lake City. That patient has been released from the hospital and is recovering from the illness. Per the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention criteria and the patient's physician, the individual is not infectious and does not need to further isolate. Melissa Moyer, director of the Teton County Health Department, said, quote, MISC is very uncommon, but parents should call their primary care providers if their child is showing new or unusual symptoms, including persistent fever, abdominal pain with or without vomiting or diarrhea, neck pain, rash, bloodshot eyes, feeling extra tired, or respiratory symptoms such as shortness of breath. Cascade County Sheriff Jesse Slaughter said in a release this morning that 10 more inmates and 1 additional employee have tested positive for COVID-19 at the Cascade County Detention Center. The additional cases bring the current total number of positive cases at the facility to 66. Slaughter first said in a release on Monday that 53 inmates and 2 staff members had tested positive for coronavirus. Before that, only 1 positive case had been confirmed on August 20th. Slaughter said he anticipates the number of cases will continue to rise at the jail and that it will fluctuate as people enter and leave the facility. Now, across the state, we all have almost 1,900 active cases of COVID-19 and just under 7,300 total cases. Thanks to that outbreak at the jail, Cascade County is reporting 114 active cases at this time and 280 total cases. The only counties with more active cases, Flathead, Rosebud, Bighorn, and Yellowstone counties. Lewis and Clark County comes in at 40 active cases and 196 total confirmed cases. Now, according to the CDC, Montana has passed New Hampshire in total cases. That puts us at 45th most cases in the country. Alluvian Health in Great Falls announced this morning that they are once again offering free COVID-19 testing to all individuals, including those who are asymptomatic. Alluvian was previously only testing people who were symptomatic or had been in contact with an infected person. A reminder that their testing site is at the Livestock Pavilion at Montana Expo Park on 3rd Street Northwest. Testing is available Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and weekends from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. No appointment or pre-screening is necessary. Today, officials in the Dakotas announced single-day records for new coronavirus cases, which some believe revved up due to hundreds of thousands attending the recent Sturgis motorcycle rally. The U.S. is rapidly closing in on 6 million infections, and there have been more than 182,000 deaths. Still, some states are easing restrictions. Danya Backus with CBS News has the latest.
California is one of the worst hit states with more than 680,000 coronavirus cases. Now Governor Gavin Newsom is implementing a new cautious plan to get the economy going again.
We're going to be more stubborn this time.
Some businesses will operate only if they meet strict guidelines.
We are ecstatic beyond words.
Hair salon owner Karen Levitt could be back in business as soon as Monday.
It's going to mean the difference between selling everything we have to be able to keep afloat or actually coming to work and making some money.
The University of Notre Dame is also trying again. The school will welcome back students for in-person learning next week after shutting down because of an outbreak. Spreading infections at colleges and universities across the nation are still a concern. Arizona State University says its COVID-19 cases nearly tripled in a matter of days. Meanwhile, across the country, people are trying to adjust to a new normal. At this high school football game in Texas, the stadium is capped at 25% capacity and fans are wearing masks.
The only thing that's different is this, and then everything else is still the same. And if we just have to wear this to watch football, we don't care. We'll wear it.
Well, it was a windy day across Montana, so let's send it over to meteorologist Grant Garland to find out more.
That's right, Matt. We saw wind gusts of around 35 miles an hour here in the Electric City, up towards Havre close to 50 miles an hour, and out towards Cut Bank around 31. So very breezy day. What are our conditions right now? Still looking at breezy conditions, 15 miles an hour in Great Falls, 20 in Glasgow, 12 in Cut Bank, and we'll continue to see winds gusting possibly 20 to 25 miles an hour tonight. So heads up on that. Temperatures right now, 67 degrees in Great Falls, a little bit warmer in Helena at 73, 74 in Jordan, and 65 in Havre. Over the last 3 hours, we have been looking at a few showers that have started rolling on in, and taking a closer look here. Looks like Fort Belknap, you guys are about to get a few light sprinkles, but I wouldn't anticipate anybody actually seeing anything fall to the ground just because of how dry we've been. As we do go throughout the overnight hours, notice by around 8 a.m. we are going to be looking at our chances for showers vamping up really right around 7 a.m. That's when we have a 50% chance of that. Overall, tonight temperatures fall down to around 45 degrees in Great Falls, 46 in Havre, 43 in Hayes, and 52 in Glasgow. Now a big cool down is headed our way tomorrow. We're going to talk about what to expect with temperatures and rain in a few minutes, but for now, back to you.
All right, thank you, Grant. Helena College announced a new free course exploring anti-black racism and allyship. According to the course's professor, the course will examine things from the history of anti-black racism in the United States to understanding the current racial justice movements taking place across the country. The course plans to define and examine certain terms such as white privilege, defunding the police, and standing in solidarity. Professor Kimberly Figg has over 10 years of experience studying race, gender, sexuality, and class. She hopes to use this course to inform community members how they can understand racism from different perspectives.
The course, while it doesn't speak specifically to Helena history, if you think more critically about the ways in which a community like this may be reproducing or is reproducing structural racism, it allows you to sort of like look at the ways in which you might be complicit in that.
You do not have to be a student to participate in the course. The class begins September 8th and will be all online. 2020 is Montana's biggest election in 2 decades, with races for the U.S. Senate, U.S. House, and governor getting national level attention. But getting less attention are several other statewide contests that are no less competitive and are significant offices for Montana. MTN reporters will be covering these races, of course, but starting this weekend, MTN hosts a series of debates between the candidates for these offices. Chief political reporter Mike Dennison tells us more.
Starting this Sunday morning, the debates will be aired on MTN's weekly public affairs program, Face the State. Our first debate is between the 2 major party candidates for State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Republican incumbent Elsie Arnson and Democratic challenger Melissa Romano, a public school teacher from Helena. This year's contest is a rematch. Arnson beat Romano in a close race in 2016. The rest of the lineup includes debates between the candidates for State Auditor, Secretary of State, and Attorney General. All of these seats are open, meaning they have no incumbent, and most of the races are expected to be close. For State Auditor, it's Republican businessman Troy Downing versus Democratic State Representative and Missoula lawyer Shane Morzo. For Secretary of State, Democratic State Senator Bryce Bennett of Missoula is taking on Republican Christy Jacobson of Helena, the current Deputy Secretary of State. And for Attorney General, Republican former House Speaker Austin Knudsen of Culbertson competes against Democrat Rafe Graybill, who's currently Chief Counsel to Governor Steve Bullock. Myself and other MTN reporters will be moderating and asking questions, and the candidates themselves will get to question their opponent. In Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
And those debates start tomorrow morning during Face the State at 9:30, or you can watch now on our streaming app. Just search for KRTV or KXLH on your favorite streaming device. The Montana Governor's Office awarded over $500,000 to help Montanans secure health insurance. Lieutenant Governor Mike Cooney announced the grant funding at an event at Riverstone Health in Billings, one of the 19 rural and safety net healthcare providers receiving the Safeguard Access to Care grant. Another recipient is Pureview Health Center in Helena. They were awarded $30,000 and say they plan to use the money to hire more staff.
I think for Pureview, we'll be using it to hire additional staff to help with outreach and enrollment in insurance policies, especially when open enrollment is coming up. We want to make sure that anyone who does not have insurance is able to get on a plan.
Health insurance enrollment goes from November 1st to December 15th of this year. Coming up in Helena, the newly redesigned Beatty Street Trail is open again. One of our reporters visited the popular spot to see what capital city users think of the area.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Welcome back. During the pandemic, many Great Falls residents have relied on the city's 57 parks to stay active. But dry weather and understaffing have left the Great Falls Parks and Recreation Department fielding concerns about park maintenance. Great Falls Parks and Rec Director Steve Herrick says the department is receiving calls about dead grass in the parks. He says although those questions are typical around this time of year, staffing has been a challenge during the pandemic. The department normally relies on seasonal, part-time staff to help water the parks over the summer. But because of the pandemic, part-time employees were hired later than usual this year. The unseasonably hot and dry weather means the department also has to water more often, which has been difficult with staffing challenges. Although it's been a rough summer for hiring, Herrick says the department is just getting back on its feet.
A lot of times we try to get some in end of March, April. We really didn't get anybody in until first part of June, actually, end of May, 1st of June. So we've been playing catch up pretty much all summer long and still playing catch up. And once we get some cooler weather and a little rain, we'll get back on top of it.
And Herrick says there's been more trash at Great Falls Parks over the last several months too, an indication that residents are going to parks more often during the pandemic. In Helena, the newly designed Beatty Street Trail is open once again. MTN's Alexia Aguayo visited the popular spot to see what capital city users think of the area.
The Beatty Street Trailhead is now open with some new features.
Features included an expanded parking lot with 18 spaces, restrooms, picnics, and an information kiosk. I spoke with some residents as they visited the trailhead for the first time in almost a year.
It's a great help to the community because so many people hiked up here and there was hardly any parking, and so they did. I'm very impressed.
I think it's great for the community. This is obviously a very popular trailhead, so anything we can do to benefit the neighbors here, obviously in this part of town, and then the people that use this trail system.
Not everyone wanted the trailhead redesigned. Back in April, Beatty Street residents sought to block the expansion project, citing it was breaking a previous land agreement with the city of Helena.
I know that, a big parking lot to this neighborhood it can be unfortunate for homeowners in this area, but I think that they did a really good job to making it a beautiful area, and it's not screaming ugly parking lot trailhead.
In all, this project took about a year and cost almost $500,000. In Helena, I'm Alexia Aguayo, MTN News.
And according to the city, the trailhead is the second most used trailhead in Helena. With more time on people's hands thanks to COVID-19, many have traded person-to-person interaction for person-to-pet exchanges. The desire to adopt a pet has helped animal shelters like Fort Benton's keep their adoption rates steady. This weekend, the Fort Benton-based facility Deadman Animal Shelter headed to the Electric City for a better chance at getting their pets placed, as many of the shelter's adopters come from Great Falls. Shelter manager explained that this year, animals haven't stayed in the shelter long-term, a trend she attributes to COVID and holding adoption clinics in more populated areas.
COVID could potentially play, a role in people adopting more. People are home more, and that's, the perfect time to adopt an animal is when you have the time to be home. Also, our shelter is getting more well-known. We're coming into Great Falls, we're doing more things, we're more active on social media, and I guess, have a good reputation going out there.
Deadman Shelter currently has several animals available for adoption. You can head to our website for more information on the adoption process.
Well, as we wake up tomorrow in Helena, our temperatures around 7 a.m. are going to be 54 degrees with mostly sunny skies. Don't go away. Your 7-day forecast is coming up next.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Grant Garland.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you have had a great Saturday and ready to wake up tomorrow. We are looking at temperatures today very warm for this time of year, almost 12 degrees in some locations. 90 degrees in Great Falls today, as well as down towards Helena. 97 in Glasgow and 96 in Jordan and 92 in Haverpost for a very warm day. Now, the average for Great Falls is around 78 degrees, so we were exactly 12 degrees above that. The record was set, though, back in 2005 when it was 97 degrees. Also the year that the remake of Pride and Prejudice with Keira Knightley and Judi Dench was made. Really good movie. Currently temperature 64 degrees in Lewistown, 67 in Great Falls. A lot cooler as you head on up towards Cutbank at 52 degrees. Heading on out to Glasgow, though, 20 degrees warmer and 72. Now our winds today, yeah, they've been really breezy. 35-mile-per-hour winds here in the Electric City alone. 28 down towards the capital, 25 in Lewistown, 49 in Havre, and 30 in Glasgow. Now we are expecting to see possibly some wind gusts between 20 to 30 miles an hour tonight. So heads up if you hear the wind blowing out there. We aren't expecting any storms. It's just that we could be looking at a few breezy conditions. Right now clouds are moving down towards the southeast. As that happens, we are looking at a few rain showers right now making their way out towards Fort Belknap as they continue to progress towards Glasgow. We are going to stay, I think, though, mostly dry tonight, even though some of us will start to see our rain chances pick up as we go throughout the early to mid morning hours. As far as our winds are concerned, tomorrow is going to be a very breezy day. We're going to be looking at 10 to 20 mile per hour winds at sometimes also up to around 30 to possibly 40 miles an hour. So heads up, very breezy day tomorrow, and we are expecting not only for us to be breezy, but also for us to be dry. I know, shocker, right? Well, here in Great Falls, we are expecting the driest part of the day to be right around 7 p.m. when we're looking at 15% humidity. And for our friends in Helena, we're going to be looking at the driest part of the day right around the 4:30 mark at 17% too. The good news is that our temperatures are going to be really nice tomorrow. In my opinion, they're going to be well below the average for this time of year. Now, why is this happening? Well, it's because this cold front is making its way through the Treasure State tonight. As it happens, well, at least the westward side of the cold front starts to weaken, and then the eastern side actually tracks off really quickly towards the Dakotas. High pressure builds in right around 6 o'clock tomorrow. It's going to move out towards the west, and as that happens, we'll see our cloud cover can be brought back in for Monday. Also, we're going to notice a few showers, possibly even a few snow showers in the elevated parts of the mountain. So don't worry, we're not forecasting a big scene with that. It will only impact those that are in higher elevations. Most of us will be looking at possibility of a few raindrops, but it's not going to be many at all. In fact, as we go throughout the day on Monday, we could be looking at only picking up 2/100 of an inch of rain here in Lewistown, 1/100 of an inch of rain in Havre. It's not going to be a soaker by any means. It's just been so dry. Our temperatures for the next 2 days are really going to be nice. 68 tomorrow, 67 on Monday. We will warm back up into the mid 80s on Tuesday and Wednesday before dropping down to around 74 on Thursday. Now, as far as our temperatures tonight, 46 degrees in Helena, 45 in Great Falls, and 47 in Lewistown. Tomorrow, temperatures are going to get up to around 68 degrees. We will have that chance for showers as well as on Monday. On Tuesday, sunny skies before warming up into, again, the mid-80s. And for our friends in Helena, we are going to be looking at the same situation, really. Just better chance for showers on Monday. That will be likely. Tuesday, sunny skies. Wednesday, mostly sunny. Matt?
All right, thank you, Grant. Well, one of Great Falls' most well-known attractions, Giant Springs State Park, captivates tourists and residents alike with its wildlife, greenery, and of course, giant springs. But in order to keep those springs looking their best, one organization takes part in a semi-annual cleanup. Earlier today, the Electric City Dive Club dove right into the springs, removing coins and weeds that accumulated over the past 6 months. While the cleanup might seem like a chore to some, passionate diver Tammy Lucas said swimming in the springs has been a lifelong dream.
The water's so clear and pretty, you're just like tempted to jump in. But you can't swim in here. So, you know, to get the opportunity to come in here and see what the water looks like under the surface is, wow, pretty exciting.
Lucas said anyone in the dive club can have the opportunity to clean the springs. If you'd like to do so, you can simply reach out to the club via their website or Facebook page. This is a good time of year to escape to a high mountain lake, and as Winston Gurley shows us in this week's Fish, Wildlife and Parks Outdoor Report, many of these lakes offer great fishing opportunities as well.
Every summer for the past 50 years, state fish crews head into the Absaroka Beartooth Mountains to survey high mountain lakes.
I've been sampling mountain lakes in the AB wilderness for about 15 years now. I've been to most of the lakes, not all of them. There's a couple I'll probably never go to.
Armed with rods, nets, and other gear, these fish techs spend most of the summer trying to get to the more than 300 fishable lakes.
For the last 14 years, I've been wandering these hills to provide you the information you need to find your own perfect fishing experience.
Part of this work also requires regular stockings at some lakes, which allows FWP to provide unique fishing, like for golden trout.
Region 5 Fisheries stocks 12 lakes in the AB wilderness with golden trout, a total of about 20,000 fish.
To find lakes with golden trout, or if you want to plan your next fishing adventure, download the Mountain Lakes Fishing Guide for the Absaroka, Beartooth, and Crazy Mountains from Fish, Wildlife, and Parks website. This yearly updated guide provides survey and stocking information, as well as comments on campsites and other observations. I'm Winston Greeley at Among Montana's Fish, Wildlife, and Parks.
And most high mountain lakes have a short season from July to mid-September. Well, high school football is back in Montana. Did you know that? Well, if you didn't and you weren't able to catch some of the action last night and throughout the day today, don't worry, we've got you covered. After the break, Isaiah Dunk and Alec Boffinger will join us virtually, of course, to give us something we haven't had in months, some highlights. Stick around, that's coming up after the break.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
It's been a long time since Great Falls Central played a regular season football game in Memorial Stadium, but tonight they were back. I'm going to hand it off to MTN's Isaiah Dunk, who takes us there.
Well, they've played a few playoff games here in recent years, but tonight the Great Falls Central Mustangs will open the regular season at Memorial Stadium for the first time since the 1970s. Twin Bridges is in town. Let's check out the highlights.
Mustangs playing their first game under new head coach Wes Ross, and they got off to a good start. Falcons trying to go deep here. That's tipped by Dylan Warren and picked off by Jordan Schultz. Central's fired up after that one, and they would feed off of it. Ensuing possession, Warren's playing quarterback now. That's a quick hitter to Tucker Atkinson, and he's gone. Nobody even close to him as he finds the end zone, and Central takes a quick 6-0 lead. But that was about it for the Mustangs in the first half. Second quarter now, it's Connor Nye going to work for the Falcons. 10-yard rushing touchdown, and the Falcons take an 8-6 lead with the point after. But Nye wasn't done. Here he is again with the cutback, breaking a few tackles, using his blockers well, and he's in again. 16-6 Twin Bridges. Nye had 4 touchdowns in the first half alone. A couple of other Falcons getting in on the fun. Here's Ricky Puckett finding some space on the edge, and he's in no problem. 22-6 now. Then, right before halftime, Sam Conan takes the snap, and he's going to keep this one himself. Making them dance out there. This touchdown makes it 40-6, and Twin Bridges didn't stop in the second half. There's your final. In Great Falls, Isaiah Dunk, MTN Sports.
All right, Connor and I are looking for a boost to his Madden rating, I see. Meanwhile, a positive COVID-19 case forced schools in Shepherd, Montana to close just as the new school year started. But that didn't stop them from tossing the pigskin around this afternoon. Here's Alec Boffinger with a few more highlights to round out your Saturday night.
Shepherd School was closed down for 2 days earlier this week, but they're playing football again on Saturday afternoon. And we got 2 playoff teams. Shepherd and Glasgow both made the playoffs last season, but bowed out in the first round. But the Scotties and Lode Nidler put on a show today.
They got some dudes this year. Here's one of them. State wrestling champion Dylan Neeskins comes up with the fumble recovery, setting the Scotties up in the red zone. And Idler capitalizes. He plunges in here from 8 yards out for his second rushing touchdown of the first half. He can throw it too, shows some escapability in the pocket, rolls out, and then he's going deep. Bo Malna behind the defense, 32-yard pitch and catch, Glasgow cruising. And the freshman's going to punctuate it. Tatum Hansen well blocked downfield, 20-yard touchdown run, and Glasgow pitches a shutout, 36-0 over Shepherd. In Shepherd, Alec Boffinger, MTN Sports. You can find full highlights and post-game reaction at montanasports.com.
All right, thank you, Alec. And as you heard him say, we have full coverage of the return of high school sports in the state on montanasports.com. We'll be right back with one final check of your weather forecast right after this.
Well, tomorrow we have a 30% chance of morning showers in Great Falls, 68 degrees. We will stay on the cooler side of things, at least for the first start of our work week, but then temperatures quickly jump up into the mid 80s. And that's really the same situation for our friends in Helena too. 64 degrees on Monday with showers likely.
All right, from Grant and me and Isaiah in the field, thanks so much for watching, and we will see you tomorrow.